Hey everyone, wanted to talk about the H2, give an update on what happened with the 2020 season, why I didn't upload any videos, talk about some exciting news for 2021, talk about a couple of the mods I added to the bike this year, and talk about plans for the winter. So obviously with the 2020 season, COVID-19 really put a hamper on getting some racing in. Living up in Canada, the border has been closed pretty much all season, or at least as far as since spring. So wasn't able to get any testing in before I could even head down to the States if I wanted to. Had some big plans to run some fast bikes and cars this year, and unfortunately just wasn't able to make it happen. Lots of guys to meet up with in Detroit and down in Texas is always a good time. So it's pretty sad that I wasn't able to make that happen this year. As far as the bike, got out a whole bunch of times though. At least got to ride up here on our local back roads and get out and have some fun and at least enjoy the bike as far as it being a street bike. Unfortunately, most of my friends don't ride anymore, so it's usually myself or sometimes I get together with a couple locals and go out for a nice Sunday ride and stop at a couple places for some food and picks, but nothing really exciting as far as racing is concerned. The Busa there in the background, you can touch on that too. I get to go out, that's my father's, so sometimes we'll get out for a nice ride, which is always great getting out with your dad, and he likes to have some fun. Obviously, the Gen 1 stock Busa isn't anywhere near what the H2 is, but still a lot of fun getting out with your dad and getting out on the back roads and, giving him a head start and coming around him pretty quick. The Busa there, that's actually the first bike I ever rode on the street, first bike I ever rode, period. When I was about 16 or 17, I started riding that in and around big parking lots, and then my dad lives kind of up in the middle of nowhere, so he had a nice area where I could take it out and just ride around and see how I like bikes, but still didn't end up getting my license until I was a lot older. So he's had that bike now. It's 99. He's had it now almost it'd be about 20 years, I guess now. With it being the 99, that was the first year model with the Busa, so it was the first year it didn't have any of the speed restrictions. I can kind of do just a quick little look over it. Still bone stock. He's never done any mods to it, just your normal maintenance and tires and a chain and some filters, your spark plugs, your regular old street bike. It's got about 62,000 K I think on it. Can fire it up. I had it turned on already earlier. Yeah, 62,535 kilometers over the last 20 years. He doesn't really ride too much now. He's just over 65 years old, so it's not as motivated as he used to be. But yeah, I'll fire it up. Obviously too, because it's the first year they came out with the bike, the speedometer goes to 340 kilometers an hour. So I do believe the later years with the speed restrictions, they brought the speedometer down to I think 300 or 280 kilometers an hour. But yeah, first bike I ever rode on the road. before getting my 08 750. And had the 08 750 for a while before getting the ZX10. And tried to do the two bike thing for a little while, but I always found myself riding the ZX10, so I ended up getting rid of the 750 and sticking with the ZX10 for a little while before getting the H2. But yeah, I keep the bike here. Obviously in Canada we get some long winters, so my father living up north, he doesn't exactly have a big garage for the bike, so I store it for him for the winter, so he's got a little bit more room to work around. And since I got a nice new place here, I got lots of room to store the bike for him. So yeah, this obviously, I've never really shown my garage on YouTube before. So yeah, I moved into a new place this year. Got a decent sized garage now. Got the heater for the winter. Some nice new lights. Keep it nice and bright in here. My old place was kind of like a dungeon, I guess you could say. It really never got good lighting in it, so I was pretty happy to kind of get this upgrade. Had a guy come in and epoxy the floor. First time doing it in epoxy, and absolutely love it. Blue was a little bit extreme. I kind of was hoping it wouldn't be so pronounced, but still turned out awesome. And with the clear and the silica sand, it's doesn't slip, or very sturdy, and you know, you can walk in socks and you're not getting that concrete dust all over your feet all the time. So definitely really nice to be able to have a garage now that I can work in and enjoy being in a lot of the time. Talk about a couple mods for this year. Nothing crazy. The beginning of the year, Rock Performance released a new muffler, Pentacarbon, and definitely had to get that. And I love the new look of it. The slash cut looked great, but I definitely love the cleaner look of this exhaust. And the bike is now a little bit quieter. It's still incredibly loud. So on those long rides, I'm definitely needing the earplugs, because you know, with the position of the exhaust, it's pretty much right in line with your ears. That'd be, I guess, my only complaint about it, but it definitely sounds amazing. I absolutely love it when I do a pull, and just that sound. It's like no other bike out there. So did the Pentacarbon, got the Extreme Creations billet clutch cover with the quick access cover, so that's nice with it being O-ringed. Can pull off the cover that you see here and get quick access to the clutch if I you know, ever have any problems, which thankfully I've never had a clutch issue on this bike. I usually end up doing a new one at the beginning of every season, and that seems to be working out very well for me. And then also did the Unit 5 components, shock reservoir holder, kind of cleaned up the look a little bit better on the swing arm. Then just I kind of basically had it tie wrapped down. So that's pretty much it for mods this season. This winter though, I will be pulling the motor for a refresh on the bike. It's been built now for 2 seasons. Motor work was done by Classic Motorcycle Performance out of Gallatin, Tennessee. So they built the motor back in, would have been finished May of 2018. So I think it's, you know, it's probably pretty safe to pull it apart now and check the bearings and, you know, see how things are going, check spring pressure and make sure nothing's weakening. Definitely don't want to go into the 2021 season and I can get halfway through the season and then, you know, those last couple of years of abuse kind of catch up to me. That's the thing with these bikes. I mean, you start making over 300 horse, and you know, it's not your stock motor NA 1000. I mean, you're not going to beat the crap out of this thing for, you know, 30,000 miles or something crazy like that. You're going to have to do your due diligence and pull it apart every couple seasons, give or take, how hard you ride it. I mean, if you were to be pretty nice with it and not really get on it too much, especially on the long pulls, like doing standing mile stuff like that, I think you can get a good amount of years out of it and a good amount of miles at it. But it definitely doesn't hurt to pull it apart every once in a while and check it out, because you chuck a rod out of this block like I did at a mile event, and the replacement is not cheap. These aren't your $2,000 or $2,500 replacement motors. The parts are not cheap. That is for darn sure. So the motor will be coming out probably next week, and I got a local turbo shop probably a couple hours from me, so I'm gonna take that to them, and he'll take it apart and do a refresh on everything for me, and that way I'm good to go for the 2021 season. So now for the exciting news for 2021. There's a gentleman by the name of Mick Rippins, as far as his Instagram page is concerned, who did a poll for getting together the top 16 street racers in North America, as far as Instagram is concerned, together for a big event next year. And I was pretty fortunate enough that I got some votes and was able to get in this top 16. As of right now, I am the only bike that is going to be participating. So hopefully I represent well, but this is very exciting, because these cars are definitely next level. So we got some Calvo Vipers coming. Lots of GTRs. Obviously, I'm sure a bunch of you know the name, the Texas Killer GTR. He's coming. And we got Underground Racing bringing a couple, I do believe it's X3 cars to this event as well. When we've been talking about it so far, kind of about how we want it to work, and obviously right now it'll be I think mid next year. Hopefully by then COVID-19 will be on the back burner, so I can actually cross the border. We were talking about doing it as a street event at first, but with the amount of cars kind of coming, it's just better to be safe and be smart about it, that we'll probably be ending up doing this on a runway. Now, I know that's kind of not the street, and the whole thing is about, doing the event on the street and being it like the fastest street cars and street bikes out of North America getting together. But the runway will still be, it's pretty much asphalt. It's either asphalt or some of them are concrete, but it'll pretty much be replicating the street. So I'm kind of glad that they're at least sticking with that and not doing a prep track. Obviously, if they did a prep track, I wouldn't stand a chance. There's a couple cars I think I can beat, and there's a couple cars that should be a pretty decent race, but there's also a couple cars that are definitely on that other level. And at a prep track, they just have so much more power on tap that that prep track really allows them to put it down. And it's definitely not a bad thing to have an abundance of power available for you based on the conditions. So the street has always kind of been an equalizer for that. But even still, some of these cars are just running crazy times. I mean, on the prep tracks, again, which is why I was saying I'd be completely just demolished, is for 60 to 130, some of these cars are in the 2.3, 2.4 range. 60 to 130, and in the 1.8 to 1.9 range, 100 to 150 miles an hour. And then when we get into the street, I know there's a GTR right now that holds the record for the fastest on the road, at least by somebody that said that they'd gone that fast, is I think it was 255, 60 to 130. There's a couple GTRs in the 2.6s, and there's quite a few in the 2.7 to 2.8 range on the road, 60 to 130, and that's pretty much kind of about the same for the underground racing Lambos, and the Calvo Vipers are more than capable of going that fast as well. And then the 100 to 150s I've seen, as fast as 2.0 on the street, with a lot of them being, up in the 2.2 to 2.5 range. Obviously, it depends on traction and your DA and wind, and there's lots of factors. So as far as if anybody's asking about my times, I keep those under wraps because talking about your best will kind of always give somebody the chance to see and know what you run. But the difference is running your best time and the best day, and that just it's not that case for every single time that you get out and run. So there's always going to be variation. So the true test is always when we get together and you're pulled up next beside the guy. That's what really matters, instead of talking about your best times on your best day. But anything can happen in a race. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I mean, it's a great chance to meet a bunch of guys that I've been watching for a long time, and like I said, hopefully this border opens up, because I don't want to be the guy that's sitting there watching the videos. I want to be the guy that's there lining up with some of these cars, and I don't care. Hopefully you always want to win, and I would love to win. I don't think I'm going to, but losing isn't a big deal to me either. It's going to be absolutely exhilarating to get beside something that's making north of 2,000 horsepower, and it's not exactly something that you're going to run into every day, especially up here in Canada. There's a couple really fast local GTRs I was trying to get out with this season, but unfortunately race life, stuff breaks. The cars unfortunately had a couple issues that prevented us from getting together at the times that we were going to race. So I'll just have to wait until next season at this point, because with winter now, this season's done.